Garrett Bell wrote that there's, quote, Patriot hate going on around the country this week. Bell cited Spygate, Deflategate, and the tuck rule as some of the reasons the Patriots get so much negative attention. Also, the website BetOnline found that North Dakota is the only state outside of New England rooting for the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Interesting.
Robert Kraft was asked about all the hate and said, quote, I wouldn't use the word hatred. Everyone wants to root for the underdog, so I understand it. We are once again joined by our Patriot hater.
Number one.
Rob Parker.
President
Yeah,
of
I mean,
the hate club.
But hear him out, Skip. Hear him
I would
out.
like to hear you out today. What is your biggest reason why you hate the Patriots?
Hate is a strong word, but I'll say this. It's the Patriots have won a lot. I give them all that credit and all the Super Bowls that they've won. But I think people always feel like if you would have asked to check their underwear, you wouldn't be sure that they're clean.
Yeah.
And that's the issue. I know, Skip, I'm going a long way there for you. But that's the issue, is that on the outside or the surface, you might think everything is cool and they've won and, wow, this is great, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. But behind there's something sinister, sneaky, dirty, that doesn't feel right. And I will compare them to, say, the New York Yankees when they were winning all those World Series with Derek Jeter. It's a perfect comparison. From they had Jeter, who was this great player like Tom Brady, squeaky clean, right, won all these championships, all this other stuff. But I don't think anybody ever hated the Yankees because they didn't think that they were on the up and up and they didn't win the right way.
It's true.
When you look at the Patriots, it's all, you just heard this week, Pace, Spagnuolo. What other championship teams do guys come back from the past to say, I'm not buying that they did it on the up and up? And I think that's what hurts the Patriots and their fan base, and people try to make excuses for all of it. And we can go on and on and on. Here are my two things to say that we're not crazy to discount the Patriots. Eric Mangini, who worked there and called them out on how they do their business. And then here's the other example that no one ever talks about and people even forgot about. You know it because it happened to your former team. Josh McDaniels goes there as the head coach. What happened in 2010?
He was over in London.
And what did he do?
He sent the video guy, and they got caught. The NFL caught him trying to tape the 49ers walkthrough.
Exactly. And you know what? That was 2010. He got fined $50,000, and the team got fined $50,000. Where did he get that from?
Like father, like son.
Well, that's my point. Is that
And Mr. Bolin fired him.
All right,
as soon as they got back.
And he got fired.
Yes.
And this is my point, is that didn't just happen in a vacuum out of nowhere. That's what they do. And I've said this over and over again, that when it's all said and done and when Belichick retires and Brady retires, somebody will step up and write that book. And Tom Brady might wind up or will wind up, right, as being Lance Armstrong without the bicycle when they pull everything back and see all the other stuff that we don't know about that they used to do. That's the dislike. I wish they could have won on the up and up without any of these controversy, and people would then look at the Patriots and admire them.
When I encounter people, when they ask me who I think is going to win, I say, well, I think Philly has a great chance. They're like, good. I just want to see somebody else win.
Okay.
They want to see someone else win. And I think the cheating scandal has hurt the Patriots with the neutral fan. See, the Boston fan, the New England area, they don't care. We got the championships. You're not taking it away. So what? Because even the allegations with Big Papi bounce off him where it sticks to everybody else that had the mention.
Manny and Big Papi both got
But they don't care. We got the World Series, so what? Kiss the rings, as they like to say. They get viewed as getting favorite calls on the field. We look at the situation with Jesse James in Pittsburgh game. Now, if that had been the Patriots, they say that had been a touchdown. They wouldn't have overruled it. The tuck rule.
Now that was outrageously wrong.
Yeah.
That's the one that launched the dynasty, and I'll give you that one.
Yes.
the tuck rule.
That was wrong.
And so people feel that they get preferential treatment on the field. It would have been interesting to see, and I know you mentioned the Yankees, if social media would have been involved. See, Skip, it's hard to know right now. How would they have felt about the Bulls winning 6 championships?
Oh, it would be different.
So So, you know, it's kind of hard to say, you know, we get to look at things now through the prism of social media because everybody now, we can see what everybody thinks. Everybody has an opinion. They get on here, they get on Instagram, Facebook, or whatever your social media network is, and you can voice your opinion. So we know that a lot of people have displeasure with the Patriots and their level of success for a variety of reasons. But it would be interesting to see how would they have looked at the Bulls of the 90s? How would they have looked at the Yankees of the late 90s, early 2000s, winning all the time? Would they have had this kind of backlash? I don't believe they would because there was no. Well, maybe if they'd come out and, you know, Michael was smoking cigars and drinking, had late night, going to casinos, maybe they would have been viewed differently had they had social media catching all of everything that he was doing.
Yep.
We'll never know, but I think that has a lot to do with it, Skip. I think people are tired of the Patriots winning every year. People don't care that it's hard to win every year. They just want to see someone else win. And a cheating scandal. I think that really hurt them with the neutral fan. New England, like I said, they don't care.
By the way, North Dakota is rooting for the Patriots because North Dakota is rooting against Nick Foles because it's rooting for its favorite.
Oh, there you go. Right.
I'm glad you figured that out because I was
There you
like,
go,
North
Skip. That
Dakota.
makes sense.
Yeah. So I hear you about Spygate, Deflategate. I hear you about the Tuck rule. But what gets me is when Robert Kraft says we're like the Yankees, I say, no, you're not. Because the Yankees, going back to the 27 Yankees or the 61 Maris Mantle Yankees or the 90s Derek Jeter Yankees, they're the best team money can buy because it's an uncapped sport.
Right.
And you're always going out spending the most on the most stars.
Right.
And you are star-laden, back to Ruth and Gehrig, Maris Mantle, and all the way up to Jeter and all the core four guys.
Right.
So you're loaded with talent. You go get Roger Clemens when you need him. And in this case, the Patriots have done so much with so little because their defense, again, they haven't had the 85 Bears defense. They haven't had your Ravens 2000 or the 2002 Tampa Bay Derek Brooks defense. It's not like that. You have perhaps the greatest defensive mind coaching the defense, and then you have the greatest quarterback ever doing it with a lot of smoke and mirrors and a lot of guys that you look like they just picked up off the street, the little Edelmans and Amendolas and Chris Hogans. And you look at, have they dominated in Super Bowls the way we saw? Remember what Joe Montana did to John Elway? It was 55-10.
Right, no.
And how many times, remember Steve Young, all those 49, what they did, what was 49-26 over San Diego. Yeah, it was just a wipeout. It was a mismatch.
Troy did to Jim Kelly, 59, 17?
God, yeah, right. So then you look back at all these 7 Super Bowls. Check this out. So they beat the Rams by 3, the Panthers by 3, the Eagles by 3. They lost to the Giants and Eli by 3. Then they lost to them again by 4. Then they beat the Seahawks by 4. And then they beat the Falcons by 6 in overtime. Well, every game goes to the wire, and they get no credit for doing so much with so little because they're often not even the better team on the field. And also, they got the better coach and the better quarterback.
And
right?
also, Skip, what Mr. Kraft failed to realize, the Yankees were winning in the 20s, the 30s, the 40s.
Were. No, I got that.
The Patriots,
I got that.
You've been a franchise for almost 60 years.
Yeah.
You would like for us to think that you've only been a franchise for 20 years, and you've been winning all this in 20 years. But the 90s existed. The 80s, the 70s, and the 60s existed.
I don't think he was saying that. He just said it's Yankees-like that we're getting that kind of hatred back on us because there's always been Red Sox-Yankees hatred rivalry, right?
Yeah, the Boston fans, they despise them.
But in some ways, when you look at what Tom Brady does with how little and Belichick does with he's just mixing and matching guys, how many big stars, how many Hall of Famers, right?
And
but Skip, doesn't the scandals, though, take away from that? Just because now you're saying if they were blowing everybody away in the Super Bowl, then you would be like, dude, a couple of plays or whatever won't make a difference. When you're telling me every Super Bowl's 3 points, a play or two can make a world of a difference.
But I've never seen a dynasty get so little credit as this one gets.
Yeah.
Credit. Just it's always something's wrong. But it's this, it's that, it's cheating.
But see, Skip, if we could write, and I get your point. You look at Tom Brady, a few guys like Gronk on offense, the couple of years that they had Randy Moss, Ty Law's up for the Hall of Fame, and you got Coach Belichick.
Right.
If they were littered with Hall of Famers like the 70 Steelers, we can see them dominate. We see why the Steelers won 4 in 6 years. They got 5 Hall of Famers on offense. They got 4 on defense. They had the head coach and the owner. So yeah, now we see why they're dominating. Or the 80s, the 80 49ers with the Bartolo in the Hall of Fame, and Walsh and Montana and Rice and Haley. Can we get it?
I mean, these are starless teams except for the quarterback. Basically.
And Ronnie Lott. So, Skip, if they were littered with Hall of Famers, we can see why. But hold on. They just got a handful of guys. How they winning? They did get caught before. Have they found another way to beat the system? That's what everybody's asking.
No, but when Brady throws it to Amendola and Edelman and Hogan, you can't cheat to do that. I mean, you still have to throw the pass, and they have to catch it, right?
But people probably still like, they know something.
Something.
That's it.
Skip, do you think what I just said about at some point there will be a book, that they will be exposed at some point? I know people doesn't happen all the time while people are still playing.
They didn't think a book was going to come out about Lance Armstrong, did it?
Well, do you think one's coming out on Tom Brady? Because I don't.
I do. I think that there will be more about Tom Brady as time
Brady
goes
per
on.
se or the Patriots?
The whole thing. That there was just stuff going on, the whole thing. And people will, I think that their legacy and their will be downgraded after people find out more facts. I just think there's more to the story. Doesn't mean that Tom Brady's not a great quarterback. I told you, because you still have to make the throws.
Yes.
All these throws, all these comebacks. Man, I don't know. You can cheat all you want, and it's hard to pull this off.
But the Josh McDaniels thing doesn't say anything to you?
No,
What
it
does that
does.
say to you?
I've told you, the head coach has got some scoundrel in it. He just does. I can't put him on the ultimate pedestal because he's cheated.
Okay.
Rob,
That's
thank
fair.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you. I will, depending on how the game goes, I'll look forward to seeing you Monday or not.
Yeah, I guess.
Either way. Speaking of Tom Brady, when's he going to retire? Let's keep talking about him. That's coming up
How
next.
about before the Super Bowl? No?
He's over it.